Hello, I'd like to welcome you to our next episode of Enterprise Video Expert Series. We're coming to you from Sherpa's Executive Webcast Studios in the beautiful Redwood City Seaport here in Silicon Valley. So today we're going to take the conversation more technical. Our focus is on enterprise video delivery by way of a content delivery network, or CDN. We're joined today by Pete Maston, our good friend and longtime partner from leading content delivery network and IT infrastructure company, Internap. Pete, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Casey. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
So Pete, first off, for those viewers who aren't familiar with the company, if you could just take a few moments and tell us a bit about Internap.
Sure. Internap is about a 450-person company. We're publicly held, headquartered in Atlanta, Georgia. We really have two conceptually different offerings. One is connectivity options, right, and the other are platform options. If you break down our platform options, we have cloud, public cloud options, as well as private cloud options. We have co-location and managed hosting. The connectivity options include content delivery networks as well as IP services.
Wonderful. And tell us a little bit, Pete, about what you do for Internap.
So I run the business and product management of the connectivity options, which include the IP and the CDN.
Great, great, terrific. So, as you know, the focus of this series is the why and the hows of next generation multi-device streaming in the enterprise. So I think to start out, if you could just tell us a little bit about what a CDN really is, and more importantly, why a large organization may need a CDN for their enterprise video needs.
Sure. So content delivery networks were established back in the 90s primarily for three major use cases, one of which is video delivery. The other two are large file delivery for primarily gaming and software companies, and then for website caching companies. But when you focus just on video delivery, you have multiple different kinds of streaming that include Windows Media, Flash, and HTTP streaming, and then even within that you have VOD as well as live. So we support the full range in our content delivery network. The full range of video distribution, either VOD, live, including multiple codecs.
Wonderful. And so today, clearly video inside the enterprise is exploding for a variety of different business use cases. But I'm curious from your side of the table, what are the major pain points that you're hearing from your customers around video delivery?
We have quite a few customers that have been doing streaming for a while, but now with the influx of new devices, including iPhone, Android devices, and now the Windows Media or the Windows devices, these devices are creating havoc because they usually require the user, the customer, to encode into different formats.
Right.
And these new formats are, in fact, a challenge. And so what you see in the market now are all the content delivery networks trying to come up with creative ways to allow the consumer to still get the content, but reduce the amount of overhead on the content owner.
Right. So what you're saying is devices such as this are
just like that iPad
are creating all kinds of new use cases and needs inside these organizations.
Absolutely.
And is the market, is the vendorscape, are they keeping up with that type of demand and that rapid change that's taking place in your mind?
I think it's going to be an ongoing challenge for the next couple of years, because as these devices continue to come out, you're going to see there's going to be a rush into the market. There's going to be competing standards, and from the perspective of the content delivery network, we have to remain somewhat neutral, right, to all of the standards, and yet but produce solid solutions that our clients can use to deliver the content.
Okay. So Pete, that was a great example about a very large company using video to push a message externally. But as we talk about more and more organizations bringing the messaging internal to employees, can you talk a little bit about the hybrid model that's beginning to emerge?
Sure, and that hybrid model has existed for a while. Really, we're seeing a couple of things. One is, with regard to the hybrid model, what we're seeing is that corporations themselves are buying bigger and bigger pipes. So they're not actually as often as they were 4 or 5 years ago, putting devices inside the firewall to allow for that, because their pipes are just frankly big enough for a moderate number of people to stream fairly high quality video into a building. However, that being said, we do still see some companies that have very large groups of people inside a single building, and even with the largest of pipes into that building, there's limitations. And so there are companies out there that specialize in putting devices inside the firewall for caching and redistribution. Internet doesn't have a product in that suite. We rely on our partners. The other piece of that on that side is what we do allow, and what we do have product sets around in our CDN is adaptive bitrate streaming. And so what we see is adaptive bitrate streaming allows for within a shrinking, say, pipe, your users would get assigned lower and lower bit rates so that more consumers could use that pipe simultaneously. So we do support features that allow inside the firewall streaming, but we don't have an inside the firewall caching solution.
So Pete, picking up on that theme of high quality video that you were talking about earlier, we're seeing it a lot today, that the consumerization of effect, where folks are bringing their experience from their at-home or in-home experience into the workplace. Can you talk a little bit more about how that high definition experience is being tackled by Internet?
Absolutely, and we see it on all fronts, whether it's at the enterprise or in media and entertainment. But surprisingly, on the enterprise, we're seeing the need increase for higher quality video. And you're right, some of it comes from the fact that they're bringing that consumer, they're bringing it back from their man cave, and they want to have that visual. But the other thing is there's actual real needs in the pharmaceutical space, in the medical space, where you have medical devices, where you have people doing operations, and they need to be able to see very clearly on the video what's going on. So we see it across the board. High def it continues to drive the industry.
So speaking of pharma, Pete, we've actually got our CTO, Mark Pace, on site currently at one of our pharma customers. And I think it would be great if we try and dial in and talk to him right now.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's...
BYOD, I see.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly. So let's give Mark a call.
Hi, Casey. Hi, Pete. It's good to be with you.
We're hoping to have you give us a little bit of color on the requirement for high definition video at a pharmaceutical company like you're sitting in now.
Out here in Pharmaland, we're recording high-quality surgical training videos. As you can imagine, these videos are highly detailed, and we need to present them at the best quality possible. We're streaming these videos to surgeons and students using adaptive technologies. Adaptive allows us to use the highest quality possible that the current network conditions allow. It also allows us to dynamically adjust the bit rate while the video is playing to prevent that old school buffering notice you probably remember.
So Mark, one more question. What kind of security considerations are you seeing both within that industry as well as specifically to that opportunity?
Yeah, Pete. As you know, the pharmaceutical industry is highly regulated, as are our government and financials. Regulations are requiring higher levels of security as time goes on. We've been integrating with enterprise single sign-on to ensure that authorized users are accessing the content, as well as to provide more tracking and statistical information. Additionally, encryption has become required depending on the nature of the content, so we've been working with customers on various encryption options as well.
Okay, Mark, we really appreciate you taking a few minutes out to chat with us, and safe travels. We'll see you in the
Great.
office tomorrow.
Thanks, Casey. Mark. Thanks, Pete.
Okay, Pete, so just kind of picking up on that whole tone or theme of security, Mark talked about specifically in the world of pharmaceuticals and regulated industries. Maybe you could just give us a little bit of extra detail on, in general, how a CDN can affect security with video.
Absolutely. So within just the CDN portion of InterNAP's offering, we supply, as Mark alluded to, token authentication is a very popular option for moderate security. We also have clients that are using digital rights management solutions to deliver different kinds of media, and that includes companies like Verimatrix or Widevine. And then we also, to even broaden that, we have clients that have HIPAA requirements as well as PCI compliance requirements, and all of those require a variety of both cloud and storage options that can be compliant within those domains. So broadly speaking, we have a wide swath of products, and we try to consult with our clients to help them understand which ones to use in what situations.
So Pete, before we let you go, I was hoping that you could take a few moments and look into your crystal ball and tell us where you think video CDN technology is heading in the next couple of years.
Absolutely. It's always a difficult question because of the influx of new technology that's constantly being, the innovative stuff that's happening, and my team of product managers are constantly looking at different technologies. But that being said, there's some trends that I think are fairly obvious. HTTP streaming is becoming the de facto standard. That doesn't mean RTMP or flash streaming isn't an important component. We still see an awful lot of that today, and there's a lot of advantages of doing it today. But what we're seeing is the new customers, my new customers that are coming in, are invariably shifting directly to HTTP streaming. From Internet's perspective, we're really tightly integrating our cloud technology with our CDN technology, and we view that as we add new value-added features, we'll be able to implement those directly in our cloud, and there's that integration will provide a huge value to the consumer because they'll be able to essentially have one vendor to supply all those features and functions.
Great. Well, really appreciate your time today, Pete. Love having you here, and would love to have you back in a couple of months and kind of check in on the state of where this industry is going.
It's been a lot of fun. I appreciate you having me.
Well, thanks for being here.
Thanks.
We want to thank you for joining us today for this session, and we would look forward to any comments you may have, as well as ideas for future shows. Thanks for joining us, everyone, and have a great day.